Hello everyone, welcome to Lord Egerton Castle. This was built in 1938. It's about the story of love, Victoria and Lord Egerton. But the story about this place is that the castle was built, but the lady who was made for this house never lived in it, even a single night. Here's the story way back in 1938. So the story brings you to 1938 when this castle was built. And as you can see, it brings to this huge wooden door. Everything here still original and intact. And if you want to see the originality, this is the emblem of the Egerton way back then. It shows how original this door is and was. And it brings you to this huge lounge area. This is the gentleman in question, Lord Egerton, the man. And here is the family tree. It brings you down to the fourth and last Baron Egerton of Tarton, 1920 until he died in 1958. And all this coat of arms, Egerton family coat of arms thereabout, and here is everything. Now, when you come to this side, because he loved entertainment, this brings you to the ballroom where he did everything entertainment every time he had his guests. On this other side is the organ, which was being used to play his music for entertainment. Over there, the sound would be produced and then it goes up to the other side of the rooftop. I'll show you that later on. But let me show you something that probably many of you would love about it. This was a fireplace, but see what is here is the lion, the coat of arms of the family. That here, and also brings you to this beautiful and antique portrait. Bring you to this other side, that is Baron Egerton Tarton himself, all right, and all the family photos thereabout, including Maurice Egerton, who was taken by his mother. That is it. Now let me show you, because I said that he loves entertainment. This was the organ and the piano. Here you have it. This piano is more than years and decades years old. This is where he used to get his entertainment, but because of time, it started to wear out and vandalism taking place. A quick one. These are the photos. Going over there, he loved game, he loved hunting. Photos over there of the game, etc., etc. But perhaps one of the most important things is because the antique nature of everything inside this castle. Look at this. These are some of the communication gadgets that used to be used way back in 1938. Still standing strong there. There you have it all. The radio communication machines still intact, well kept. Oh, look at that. A phone. And how they used to communicate way back in the years. Quite antique indeed. Well kept and well preserved. So the story of Lord Maurice Egerton goes back way back in 1938. But the most interesting thing that is making him one of the most talked about person here in Kenya is because of the lady called Victoria. The story goes back to one of the smallest houses that he built, and I will tell you that reason why. The lady did not even spend a day here, even after the gentleman spent over 16 years building this castle. That one I will tell you later on. But right about now, let me take you to the room where Maurice used to stay, the room he built for Victoria and other spaces in this castle. Let's go. I love the wooden stairs, which are well done, still intact. Look, the antique, the woodwork, which was done by the radiations. The sculpture, very strong metal, where it goes back into the years. And here, so this one brings you to the room which was made for the lady. This is the room that was specifically made for Victoria. You will agree with me that the gentleman who built this house had a very good idea on basically what to do with it. But even after all this, there's nothing that happened. The house looks very big, quite spacious. But when Victoria came here in the years way back, she never stayed here even a single day. And that is why Lord Egerton was not so happy. He was so upset. And the lady spent just a few hours and went back home. I think that is why Lord Egerton died a bachelor. Victoria never used this sink even a single day. I love the natural light that you wake up in the morning and you see the exterior of the garden. How beautiful this is. On this other side was Victoria's bathroom. It was well done. There was no shower way back then. That big bathtub, still intact, and even the original. I love this. This is something like an antique bone or caramel. Very nice. The color, bringing this, the hot tub and the cold tub, all intact. Look at that. Perhaps this was meant to hang your towels in silver, stainless steel. The sink, very huge sink, which the lady never used before. They've been vandalized because of time. But as you can see, the whole of this bathroom was meant for Victoria, but she never spent even a single day here, a number of hours, and she went back. How disappointing can that be? Let me take you to where Lord Egerton used to live, his room. So here brings you to this room, number 25. And this was Lord Egerton's master bedroom. And I think Lord Egerton was a very strategic kind of a person. Having this kind of view was giving you a very good view of the sunset late in the evening over there. But the whole of this used to be his room that he lived for himself. And up to that point, he never used to be here. He lived in this room for quite some time, but later on, because of old age, he decided to go downstairs, which I'll take you to that room because he could not go upstairs, to come and spend in his room. That's why he decided to go one of the rooms that I'll take you where he took his last. And that is where I'm going to take you next. But this room is quite massive. It's huge. All right. And this, door number 20, brings you to the family room. How big is this? The family room that Lord Egerton created and built for his family members who never came to visit. Okay, but you can see there is something quite common. In almost the rooms that we've gone to, there is this signature sink that is still there, quite huge, never been used, still standing very strong, years on end and ages and decades on end. I love the sculpture here, the work which was done, still also giving you that clear view of the garden. Very beautiful, quite vast. Okay, and even all this thing was now happening when Lord Egerton was trying to court Victoria, who was supposed to be, and according to the history way back then, Lord Egerton was supposed to marry a lady of his stature because of the aristocratic nature of that, a lady who was coming from the lineage or had same stature as his. But it never went his way. So this room has since been turned into, because it was a family room, that's how I've got so many art galleries, on the wall, telling different stories and all that. I just wish that Lord Egerton would wake up in the morning one day and come back and see how his house has been turned. I hope and I bet he would be a very happy man. Right, this was Lord Maurice Egerton's bathroom. But one fun thing is that I've never seen a shower head. He loved bathtubs. This is very nice. Even this stainless stand here, probably it was used to hang towels and other things, the innerwears. The signature sink also standing very strong years and decades later. I love that bathtub. He used it for only 4 years, then he died. Life. You must be wondering, let me take you to where food was made. I'm taking you to the kitchen. And this gentleman had one of the hugest kitchens that I have ever seen. Going downstairs, I wonder how a chef would cook food and go upstairs into the bedroom or into the dining room. But here is where the kitchen is. Welcome to the kitchen. All right, oh my goodness. Look at this antique. It was either using coal or charcoal burner way back then. And I love how this thing was heavy and pure. Either it was a metal or I don't know, but it's some antique material there. It was Debanian Hotel Range. There you go, Debanian Hotel Range. And it also had quote number in case there was any repair that was needed. You would quote 14118 for repairs. Wow, okay. And the way it used to open, the handles are still original. Quite antique indeed. Don't know how this thing used to operate, but it was very, very antique. When you come out here, it brings you to the pantry area where cleaning was done and washing was done. Of course, because of time, it's since been vandalized. And through that door, it takes you to the other side of the kitchen. Okay? But again, when you come out here, it will give you this clear view of his garage was down here and a clear view of the garden. So this was part of the garden, which was quite huge. It's since been given a very beautiful landscaping and the flowers blooming very well. I love that palm tree whispering over there. Very nice. So let me take you to where he used to do his laundry area, which is not so far away from this other side. The laundry area was done here, and the sink cleaning would be done here. The double sink, which was somewhat heated way back then, the exit, the water exit there, the taps and all that. But because he was way back then, you know, during royalty, they didn't want to have the clothes taken out for airing and all that. So they created a steam dryer, which was this cabinet here. So this is how it used to happen. Now, clothes would be hung inside this cabinet there, all right? But then there was hot water, which was being heated during that time using this boiler here. And that boiler would create that heat that would in turn go back into the pipes. I wish you could see here, but that hot water would bring the heat and dry the clothes here. But that water was still being recycled and it goes back to the main bathroom, into the bathtubs and all that. So there was no wastage basically. I love how creativity was used and employed during that time. Right now we have got washing machines and spinners. Again, time. The electricity bit of it. Okay. And you know, way back then there was no electricity in Kenya, so they would tap electricity from Uganda. This was General Electric Company. Very good. And this was made in England, and you'd switch it on and off. On, I think this used to act as main power switch or something, but because of time and age and all that, they have still used the modern one. Compare this and this. Look at that, General Electric Company, made in England. Wow. This is some crazy work there. Now this is one of the rooms that I want to show you. When you come into this room was meant for his baby. Again, huge and big. That Lord Egerton died without a family, without a wife. But this room was meant for his baby. It's quite unfortunate that that never came to be, but as you can see, it was well done, it was well thought of. There is from here a very small cabinet which was meant for the baby, was made, all right. See there? And even just to keep his stuff, which was meant for the baby, the cabinet, to keep his clothes. I see there. But that never happened. Since we used, if you can see the drawing, perhaps babies and kids are coming here just to remembrance, because this was meant for a baby. And so when kids are brought into this room, it brings some life to show that it was supposed to be a kid's room. But that never happened. Now, Lord Egerton, because of old age, also died because of different reasons. But this is something which is also quite common in almost all the rooms. I want to take a look at this view, that even when the baby woke up, this was his view of the garden. You wake up, and that was his view. You get natural light of the garden and the lawn, which was quite soothing. Almost all the rooms had this view of the garden. Beautiful. And into the room that now I know you've been waiting for because of so many years. Let me bring you to this room. Room door number 1. 67 years ago, in 1958, Lord Egerton slept there and took his last breath. This is the room that Lord Egerton built for the guests, but because of old age, he could not afford to go upstairs into his master bedroom, so he opted to be coming here because he could not, scale the stairs. So he used to come and sleep here in this room, and this is where he died in 1958. Right here at the original tables that was here, this was his traveling suitcase, complete with a hanger, okay? And this is how he used to travel from England, covering years, days from England to Kenya. And this was how it was being locked way back then. And there was a lock, perhaps because of age, it was there, okay? The better one was here, this other side, which is also still intact. It had got several compartments, quite antique, and this was original leather. It had got different drawers. I think they're still open. There you go. And they're made of plywood and cardboard. Well done. And that was it. This other side, of course, an additional to keep it quite modern. And this side was the signature sink that I've been talking about in almost all the rooms. The big, huge and white marble sink. Look at that, still standing strong. On this other side was Lord Maurice Egerton's cabinet and dressing table. The original one that was brought here in 1938. Look at that mirror. Still standing strong, years on end, decades on end. And this is where he used to keep his makeup stuff, either pen or whatever it was. I don't know what it used to be. And here there was some kind of a drawer, something of that sort, still kept intact. The drawer still working, and more compartments down here, and even more storage down here for him to keep his stuff. I love it. So after that tour, now let me take you to the house where, when Lord Egerton built and Victoria came, she did not like it. And do you know what she said? That was just a kitchen house, which normally said, basically was a very small house for her to live in. But before that, look at this, lion standing strong there, and another one here, welcoming you to the stairs. Now let me take you to the house where Lord Egerton built first for the lady, and she said, no, I cannot live here, and she left. So this is a house that Lord Egerton, Maurice, built for Victoria in 1924. This one here. And I think that's why Victoria did not like it. Yes. Look at the house. Still standing strong. Years and years on end. The windows have been smashed because of time again, but it remains very intact. I don't think there is nobody who's allowed to get inside. But this was the house that was built for Victoria, who was supposed to be the queen. No entry. But this is how it used to be way back then. I think there was some fire that brought it down, raised it sometimes back. Okay. So when Lord Egerton decided to build a house, he thought that whatever he was going to do was going to impress the lady of his life. So he decided to build this building here. And when Victoria came, Victoria described this house as a bird's nest. Literally so. Because she used to come from a lineage of the royals. So coming to live in such a house was going to be to downgrade herself and a very big disservice and a dishonor to her and to the entire lineage. And that's why Lord Egerton decided, you know what, I'm going to build a bigger castle, which he built over there. But then again, what happened? The lady did not even stay here for long. Word has it that Victoria stayed here for a few hours and left. And since then, Lord Egerton was so much disappointed. He felt hurt, he felt dejected, and he never remarried again. Victoria left the country, went back to Austria, and instead of getting married to Lord Egerton, she got married to a filmmaker in Austria, who later became a baron. So that is just how the story of love of Lord Egerton became to be. But what has it that Lord Egerton had 100,000 acres of land, and in the years way back then, Lord Egerton Farm College was started, which later on became Egerton University. And so at this particular point, this property is fully managed by Egerton University. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you want to come here, the rates are quite affordable. Just come to the gate, they will attend to you. If you want to do filming, you're going to pay a very small fee that will be used to keep this place intact. And you'll also get into the main gate, you'll pay some entry fee that you'll have a whole field day and just learn about this place and so much more. So please remember to subscribe, share and like. And if you have some time, please just come to Lord Egerton and have some good place. I love the view. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one.